I'm bringing this up. I have to.
What's so
As
funny,
we're
guys?
sitting there, and the intro's going, I see Colin's phone pop up, and I see an app I've used before, and
I thought that's what it might have been.
it was a nice new match on Tinder for good old Colin Dalkey.
Attaboy. Score?
Seen worse.
Oh,
We'll see if we'll see if I match with her by the end of the podcast.
So are we spitballing ideas for the pickup line,
Yeah.
or
I saw one the other day that was just fine, but we'll go on. Welcome to Puck Boys, to the Puck Boys. To my left, we have a nice man named Colin, and wow. And a man to my right named Marcus Federkevic. How you boys doing?
no wow for me? Thanks.
You got last name. He didn't.
Fair enough.
Doing good.
Yeah, good to hear. Good to
Feeling
hear.
good. Feeling loose.
Haven't recorded in 2 weeks, so we have a lot to talk about.
Do you guys see the shootout play where, well, because the Ranger guy threw his stick and it ended up being called an automatic goal on Ovi. That happened like a few weeks ago. And then this week, Pettersson was in a shootout against the Stars. And did you see what Godobin did?
Yeah, toss his stick.
But it's kind of, it looked like he almost like kind of dropped it, but then you look at it again and it's kind of like, oh no, you clearly fucking.
Yeah, is there a rule like if you hit the puck first and then your stick, or like does it have to make contact with anything or something like that?
If the stick gets knocked out of your hands,
Yeah.
then it's not a penalty on you because
Yeah.
you had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
But he dropped his stick by accident, and when because to me it looked like he was going for the poke check, and
Yeah.
when he tried to slide it out as you do, he just missed it on
Didn't
the
have the
grab.
knob on
Yeah,
the
like he
end, yeah.
he didn't
Yeah.
get it when he threw it, and so it fell out, and he made contact with Pettersson's puck, and that
Nothing
ruined his
happened.
shot.
Cost him a game, or cost him a point.
Did they end up losing in overtime? Because it was something like that.
Dallas ended up winning.
Dallas
Yeah.
won in overtime.
Yeah, so I think it was something like that. Which, that's pretty shitty. But I did see Pettersson's shootout goal the
The
night
one that
before.
actually did go in.
The one that did go in the Forsberg.
Hello.
That was a few nights ago earlier,
So
and
nasty.
Yeah, that was Friday.
he does that move so well.
Oh, so well. He pulls it off to perfection, 100%.
Tucks it in perfectly.
I could talk about Pettersson for literally the longest time, but
He's such an exciting player. One of the best. Like honestly, I watched a lot of that Dallas game. It was on while like at a family event, so it was just sort of in the background, and just the way he controls the play. Like honestly, when it was him, other than Sagan, there was no one out there that was like controlling the play like
as much as he does.
even close. Like Besser was good, Ben was good, Klingberg's good, but like no one was like those two guys. Like that was the.
How could you watch him and not be able to tell that he's better than everyone else? Like, how is it that
How did he
Hischier
fall
and Patrick
five?
were like the slam dunk top two, and then there's everybody else, and it's like, man, this guy is so much better. It's not even funny, but you know what? Vancouver's lucky to have him.
Yep. And I think they have a bright future.
What was I going to talk about though?
Before we get super deep into hockey, I think we should cover some St. Patty's Day stuff because
Yeah.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
kidding.
we had some fun on St. Patty's Day. Ding and I were at a concert.
A rap group.
Yeah, we saw Three Pete
I've
play.
never actually seen three-peat.
They were. I wasn't the biggest fan of them because we went and saw them at Goodwill.
Okay.
OV was, I don't know what was, it was something different about it. I think it was like a smaller stage kind of thing and everything, and it was really fun.
Was it packed?
Oh yeah. Well, we
It
got
was
there and there
weird. It was weird. Like I didn't expect this. We were like probably in the top, like probably first 20 people to show up.
Yeah.
At what time?
10:40.
And by
Wait,
like
what?
Yeah.
and by midnight it was packed.
It was pretty loaded. Like Three Pete showed up. I think they played from midnight to 1 sort of deal, and they had like
Wow.
and so their opener was actually like one of the three guys in Three Pete and his buddy have like a separate rap group, or like they're a team. So they like opened because I was like, isn't that one of the guys?
Yeah,
I was
isn't
like,
that- yeah.
I was like, I thought he looked familiar. I'm like, what?
During the like his like opener, I guess. He wasn't even like rapping. It was just the one guy rapping. He was like his hype man, so he was all like the background noise, like, oh yeah, what, yeah.
He was more like the feature
Yeah.
rather than
Yeah,
the
basically.
actual guy. But it was a really good show. It was only $15 to go,
Yeah, it
or
was good.
actually only 10 because
10,
we
yeah, it was
paid
10.
early.
Yep,
And I would definitely go see them again. Shout out to Three Pete. Check them out on Spotify.
I think. Yeah.
They are on Spotify. I
Oh,
was
you've been
listening to some of their
listening
stuff. Oh yeah, top song is Guap.
Guap.
Slaps.
I
I
actually
I-
knew that. I think I looked it up the day.
Well, they
when
played
we
it at
knew
the
we were
concert,
going,
so-
yeah. One
that's
thing that
funny.
I didn't tell you, I was outside standing there trying to get the Oiler game because Toad was too packed and the line was too long, so I couldn't get in to watch the rest of it. And so I'm standing there like watching the game, and these 3 girls walk up and they're like, "Do you know where like OV is?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's just like in this door,
Yeah.
the one that
That
says
really
OV."
Yeah.
shady looking door.
Yeah, and I'm like, "Yeah, it's up there." One of the girls just turns to me and goes, "Well, good, we weren't asking you." There was nobody else in sight. I was so offended. I was just like sitting there on my phone watching an Oiler game, and they definitely saw the Oiler game on the screen.
She just kicked her in the
I'm in
shin.
a t-shirt in the middle of winter. Well, it's not really the middle of winter. And these 3 girls, and I'm just like, "Oh yeah, it's just in there." One of them just straight up just fucking shoots me down, and I'm like, "You know what? Maybe I shouldn't have helped you." I
Yeah.
was very chapped after that. I'll tell you that.
You're chapped.
Chapped, yes. Word of the week, chapped.
I didn't go out on the Saturday, but I went out on the Friday for fish bowls and then hit up Toad.
Yeah, I heard you hit 5 fish bowls.
Yeah,
That is dangerous.
yeah. I got real trash at fish
What
bowls.
what were you drinking? Like, was it rum and? Did you do 5 rum and cokes?
100%.
Like,
100% did 5 rum and Cokes.
No,
Three-
no, it got
three
way
for
more.
sure.
I think the first 2 were, and then I mixed in mojito.
mojito. Dude, I was definitely the second guess. I was-
Mojitos got mixed in the back 9, and it was just a whole. Oh, it was fun. And then somebody threw out the bar, and I was all over that idea. I
course
think I
you
was.
were.
Yeah, I'm pretty. Yeah.
Yeah. Where'd you end up going?
Went to the Toad, and yeah, I spent $80.
Oh!
That's a lot.
Like,
Wait,
I
is that
got-
including BP?
Oh,
No.
Oh,
Dude, BP
Lord.
BP alone was 80.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you
Because
get
a
how much
fish bowl,
was
a fish bowl
9?
like 13.
fuck! I spent a lot of money yesterday.
Holy shit!
I paid with debit. I spent 40 at the bar. I spent 40 at the bar plus whatever I had BP.
That is
It was a good one. It was one for the ages. I ran into a bunch of hockey guys, and then shit just got real.
yeah.
And everyone's just like, "Oh yeah, I'll buy the next round." And it's like, "Oh yeah, I will too." And then by the end of it, it's like 1:30 in the morning, and I'm just
Plastered,
How-
stumbling.
how
home.
many rounds is that?
Christ.
Oh Jesus! Christ.
Yeah, it was bad, but
Like 15 shots.
I know, like it was,
Of, like fish ball.
yeah, it was a good time. And then on the like obviously I couldn't go on the Saturday after that, and then Sunday I ended up going out to Liam's
I
apartment.
think we even talked about like last Monday when we were just sitting here chilling. I'm pretty sure you said you were ready to go 2 nights in a row, and that was Friday, Saturday. But you did not. I was kind of disappointed.
Yeah.
It was sad to get that Saturday afternoon text. Didn't buy my ticket. Think I'm gonna play it chill tonight.
Chill tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Low key tonight.
Low key.
That's
That
the
was
line.
the word.
Oh.
I think I'm gonna keep it low key tonight. Fucking pussy.
Yeah,
You would get roasted for the use of low key.
I know. And you know what? Honestly, looking back at it, St. Patty's Saturday, like I expect more out of myself.
Well, the other half of our friends ended up going to that social, which was
in Trash Kona.
which apparently was okay, but not great. Did you hear about Steven's trip to that social? About what happened to him?
No, what
Okay,
happened?
dude, he actually had the worst fucking time. Got
Top
like
shelf.
had fun at Riley's or whatever at the pregame. Got to Transcona for the social, and the lady that he had a ticket with didn't bring her ID. So they literally got dropped off and then cabbed back home, and then that was their night.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That sucks.
They had a really rough Friday. Cause yeah, I don't actually remember talking. I remember talking to him on the Saturday and being like, man, like why were you home at like 11:30? Like what the hell? And he's like, yeah, so this is what happened. I'm like,
Oh, that's so shitty.
So yeah.
Cause yeah, the one group went to the social, and then we went to OV, and then we went to the after party thereafter, and it was just.
That was wild.
We-
I'm
we
sure
got-
that
we
was
got-
wild.
We got home about
Didn't even
4:20.
make it there.
Yeah, I texted him how many people were there, and he's just like, 20, 30. I'm like, holy shit.
Oh,
Me?
oh.
You texted me?
Yeah, that was. Yeah.
That's how my night was going. What time was that at?
Probably 2 in the morning.
Yeah,
I thought I texted you.
yeah.
Regardless.
Yeah, how
Say-
many people were at? Like 25.
What time was that at?
This is like the next day.
Oh, oh
Anyways,
yeah.
Anywho.
It was a good time.
St. Patty's Day was fun.
Oh,
That was a
the
good one.
Did it right.
Poutine King in Osborne. Highly suggest.
Where in Osborne?
Like right across from.
It's like the building
Toad.
next to
Okay.
upstairs.
Yeah,
Okay.
and so it's
Yeah.
a poutine place that's open till 4 a.m. in Osborne. And after OV, me and Lexi were like, let's go get a bite to eat because the guys still weren't back at Riley's. So it
That's
was
a good call.
Very
Yeah.
good. Had a beer there and had
Big
a drink.
poutine fan. Big poutine fan.
They have like 30 different poutines that are just so good. We got one with like it was called the Hangover, and there was like sautéed mushrooms, onions, and egg on top, meats and shit. And, oh, so goddamn good. Highly suggest.
I'm pro poutine, so
Not a paid sponsor.
What's like the one thing when it comes to poutine that like most places screw up on? Like, do you think
The
people?
gravy.
You think it's the gravy?
no, I think it's the cheese, man.
Really?
I think way too many people
Not
don't.
enough. First off, not enough people use cheese curds. That's like one of my biggest issues. It's cheese curds. It's not
Yeah,
freaking.
okay,
Shredded
that's the thing.
cheese.
Shredded
I
cheese?
think a lot of people know that, but it's like the gravy you could easily fuck up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
French fries are pretty hard to fuck up.
Yeah.
And
That's, like, the
once
easiest-
once it's covered in gravy and cheese, it pretty
It
much is.
shouldn't
It's,
taste
it-
all the
it's going to
same.
get soggy. So
Yeah.
you pretty much like. It's very hard for that not to be the case. So
yeah.
it throws most of the qualities of a French fry out the door.
Mhm.
Don't worry. There's definitely been charts and
Oh, yeah.
breakdowns of poutines and the cheese to gravy to fry ratio and the desired
As a
amount.
chef.
Oh, don't worry. We've done very very
Yeah.
high amounts of experiments on this stuff.
And then your Sunday night, Colin.
Yep.
What'd you do? 'Cause
Got
I heard you
lick-
got a little.
Got liquored up at Liam's apartment.
Mhm.
I wasn't sure what was gonna happen because I had a lab at 9 a.m. and I actually had to go to it. And my buddy texted me as I was at Liam's house at 10 o'clock, and he gives me the, "You going to class tomorrow?" Tomorrow morning, and I call him. I'm like, "Hey man, like, yeah, I was planning on coming to class. I was planning on coming like a little hungover." And he tells me, he's like, "Yeah, so my brother won some huge like basketball championship or whatever, and we just went to BP to grab drinks. So, do you want to go to class?" I'm like, "Oh, dude, if you need a time to celebrate, you know what? Have at her. You know what? It's totally fine." Because it's like a group lab, so like
Yeah.
we both get like I have to rely on him, he has to rely on me. He's like,
Yeah,
"Can
yeah.
we just get a little skip?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, totally." So then I just went to town.
Yeah, that's
I
like-
brought 8 tall boys. Think I was gonna have like maybe like 2 or 3, and then
Why
I
pack
brought
8?
8.
just in case
That's-
that happened. Just in case that happened, I'm like, okay,
brought 8. Only thinking I was gonna drink 2 or 3.
it's better to have it than better to be prepared.
That's fair. But if
But
I was
that's
thinking, okay,
I try to finish what
realistically,
I
I thought I was gonna have
bring
like
usually.
4.
I see what you're saying, but your statement of I was planning to drink 2 or 3 is bullish.
Yeah,
Like
and like the difference between 2 and 3 and bringing 8. If it was like I might drink like 2 or 3, bring 5, not
Yeah,
8.
okay. Yeah,
Like,
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
bold move, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off.
It did not. Actually, it did.
had a rough morning.
Rough afternoon. Same thing.
Well, want to get into some hockey talk now?
I'd love to.
Yeah, sure.
What do you want to start with?
Maybe some playoff format, because Tavares and Stamkos are starting to bitch about, you know what, it's not fair that we have to play tough matchups off the bat.
It's fair. It is fair.
The main reason is just because they like the rivalries, I think.
The reason the league wants this is because of the rivalries and the revenue it generates. We all love seeing Pittsburgh, Washington play all the time. Do you know how good that Boston Toronto series is going to be in the
Oh,
first
it's gonna
round?
be so good.
And do you know, had it been the other way, the 1-8 way, then they would have met in maybe the second round, maybe the third round. But like, there's a chance that we don't see that series.
Yeah, they get knocked out by the 8 team or whatever, the 7. It just doesn't add up.
I don't know where you guys are at in terms of like how passionate you are in terms of wanting to see a change. I'm pretty low on the scale. I think I was talking with my dad about this. My dad is like really upset. He thinks the Jets he's passionate the Jets should have won the cup last year, and had we not run into Nashville early, we would have had more steam against Vegas and
Yeah.
all of
You
that. Blah,
can't
blah, blah.
be playing that
Dude,
fucking game.
all that
Oh
stuff,
my
and I'm like, man,
His
there's
dad would, though.
oh, he's a bit of a homer. He's a bit of a homer, but he's very passionate about not liking the format, and I'm like, I see what the NHL's getting at, and it's the way it is. Every year, it's gonna affect one conference worse than the other. Like last year, I think Winnipeg did get gypped a little bit, but like this year, it looks like it may benefit them, and because the other division will be a little bit worse off.
How many years ago did they change it?
Was it in 2012, 13 when they had the shortened season? Wasn't that one that got changed over? Colin's
idea.
not sure.
Wow.
I'm
the
pretty
first
sure
time
it's like
I've
it's been like 6 years
Yeah,
or something.
yeah.
Like it's It's
I was gonna say my like most, I guess, being a fan of hockey days and watching the most probably has been in this new era of having the three and then from each conference and then having the two wild cards. So I'm kind of used to it, but I would like to see it go back to the 8 just because it gives you.
Oh, I'm way more familiar with the 8, and that was awesome. But it
Yeah.
was way more flawed, dude, because it was 3 divisions in a conference.
But now you would change it because you only have 2, and I
Yeah.
think you would have less flaws. Because I don't think you have to go. You have to give the division leaders anything. I don't think you. I think the ideally you do best 8 of the East and the West. That's what I think. That's what like the realistically what it could be. It should be. Couple dreamland situations. I would personally love to see 116. Like literally just the 16 best points
Yeah.
make the playoffs, and Tampa plays 16, whoever the last team to make the playoffs is. And
There
dude,
were some people that were saying what they want to do is have, like, if you finish first, you can pick
that's my second dream
that.
scenario.
Oh, that would be so much more fun.
Do you know how like crazy and like oh man,
And then it
imagine
just
me.
goes down the
Because
list.
that would like
So,
also like
second would be
that
second
would
to pick.
that would start beef because it's like if Tampa picks like first overall, they are picking the team that they think is the worst. So
Yeah.
that's like that would fire me up. Like if I'm the 16th team
be
and
so
Tampa goes,
sick.
I'm gonna play these guys because they're definitely the worst. It's like, you know what?
Or
Fuck you guys. You know
Or
what?
if
We're
they
gonna-
just like call out like the Jets are like, you know what, we want fucking Nashville first
Dude,
round.
Oh, and
Th-
that's,
that's
the other
sick.
thing.
You'd have to
Like,
have a rule where I think you'd at least have to protect the top 5 or 6 teams. Like they have to get home ice. Like
Or
you
top
can't.
4, let's say.
But then I think that's too little. I think you got to give more teams guaranteed home ice because, like, yes, I think that would be beneficial.
Oh,
Tampa,
nice. I didn't even think of
like,
that.
because I think the top. So maybe it is
Oh,
even
yeah.
the top 8 teams have to get home ice.
Yeah.
But then it's like, okay, so Tampa gets the pick one of the 8 bottom teams.
What you could do is if you finish top 8 in the league, you get home ice, and Tampa gets to pick from 9 to 16.
That's exactly
Kinda
what I'm
16.
saying. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And then the last team doesn't get a choice. They get paired up with the
Yeah.
last team available.
Oh,
But
that'd be so sick. That would fire up the boys. You're like the Philadelphia, like
dude,
16
you know,
team.
imagine something like Tampa picks the Panthers because they played them 6 times this year, beat them all 6. They're like it's a close. They don't have to fly anywhere. They know it's like really close. Like there's that benefit.
Oh yeah.
Like
Holy
think about
shit.
like there's so many angles to this thing, and I think it'd be super cool. Another little side element to it is what do you guys think about a mini 1 game winner gets in type of thing where like you include 9 and 10, like you guarantee the
Yeah.
top 7, but then 8 has to play, so 9 and 10 play,
Yeah.
and the winner of 9 and 10 plays 8 to get in the playoffs. So you can actually still get in being lowered. Like I know the NBA is investigating that really strongly. They're looking at doing that for
thing is,
their playoff.
I like there's obviously the whole tradition in the NHL. You want to keep it the same, and I think that's one of the things that's kind of like a far stretch.
I think it's
The
cool.
16 teams just work so well. I don't want to mess it up by adding more teams, like potentially
Yeah.
contending for playoffs. I don't
Yeah.
know. I like it. Like don't kid yourself.
Dude, the more
And
teams
I
that
was
are
gonna say-
involved, honestly, if you can have a 32-team playoff of when Seattle's involved, that's like what I want, man. Because then just everyone's involved. But then it makes
32
Dude,
teams.
imagine that. Just
You're
some,
watching 8 games a night.
yeah, man, some giant battle royale.
Oh, that'd
like
be so sick.
top team in each division just plays the worst in the division, and then you just go from there.
I think
And the
I
thing
think
is,
you
I
do
feel
have
like
to have a
what-
cutoff.
I
but
feel like once Seattle gets in the league, that's gonna be when it's like
People are
the
gonna
wonky
add-
shit's
people-
gonna start happening, and they're gonna be experimenting with shit like that.
But make it like a. But if you did all 32 teams, I think you would have to do like the first rounds only like.
5 games.
3
or
games.
3 games.
Yeah.
Like, and it goes from there. It goes like.
But
3,
then like
5,
as a
7.
good team, would you want to be 3 games?
Yeah,
like,
because
I
you
think
could
if
have bad. You could have 2 shitters.
Yeah,
have-
you could just have like one bad game and you're
in trouble.
Yeah.
you're in the hole.
Yeah.
Like maybe you would want it to be 5 games. Like see.
I
And
think
then that's
32 is a
kinda-
little exaggerated, but like I like the idea of the more teams that are in it, the more excitement I think there is, because then the more you're rooting for your team and
Your team, yeah.
because no one likes rooting for the tank. Like
Hey.
as much as that is the case, and we've all done it a little bit at one point or another.
Yeah.
The other thing, in my opinion, is also if you did like a 32 playoff team sort of deal, it would kind of like it wouldn't mean as much to actually make the playoffs if everyone makes the fucking playoffs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you wouldn't be trying as hard like during the regular season.
Yeah, of
I
course
feel
not.
like.
There'd be
Oh,
no,
no.
yeah. There's no cutoff. So you have to have some kind of cutoff. You're right, but I'm throwing that out there as
Oh,
like
yeah.
some spicy meatball to have.
My bigger issue with, I guess it's not really the way the standings work. It's more the point system behind it, and I think that it should be a 3-2-1 system.
So break
you
that
win-
down as 3 points regulation win, 2 points overtime win.
So each
1
game you
point.
give up 3 points.
Yes. 1 point for an overtime loss, and then 0 for a regulation loss.
Yes.
So overtime and shootout are both 2 and 1 in your
Yes.
okay.
I also think you should just do 3 on 3
I was gonna say,
until it dies, because there's no way that a game would last more than
And the thing is that you would see like
10 minutes.
you wouldn't see the top end players every single shift going out there because it's like they're gonna be too tired.
That's why I think it's not gonna actually end in 10 minutes. I think there will be it'll be out of the blue, but I think there will be game like just like the 17 round shootout. There will be the 25-minute 3-on-3 overtime that.
I would be way more inclined to watch the 25 minutes of 3 on 3. Do you know how nuts that would be?
Also,
That'd be
you
the
could-
most fun
you could do
25
something
minutes
like
of hockey ever.
After 5 minutes, go down to 2 players. Make it 2-on-2 for 5 minutes, and then 1-on-1.
Then do one and then 1-on-1 without goalie.
No,
Just like
just
minor
1-on-1.
hockey.
Like, it would.
No,
end if
no,
it was
no. These are the
1-on-1.
NHL
Yeah, I
rules,
know.
one-on-one goalies only.
Yeah.
That's
They're
what you
just
do.
saucing the puck back and forth for like 18 minutes straight.
No, they just take turns at the empty net. They're like, all right, your turn. Yeah.
Calgary pulls Riddick. No, we're putting Smith in for this one.
Has that? Well, are you allowed to do that
For
in a
shootout.
shootout?
Yes.
100% you are.
Goalies, they've done that.
That has
I was
happened.
gonna say, when was the last time that happened? That you guys
I
can
remember
remember.
that happened in Toronto.
I can't call out anyone who's been involved, but I know it has happened, and it was legit. Like the coach was like, "He's our better shootout goalie."
He's our better shootout goalie. I know he's
so that's what we're
not
doing.
warm, but oh, that's sick. That'd be
As
such
a goalie,
shot.
I'd be so
I'd
fucking
be
mad.
so mad. Unless like you knew you were shooting shootouts and you're like,
That would have to be discussed earlier. Like
Yeah.
that would have to be the game plan. Like if it goes to a shootout tonight, like
Yeah.
the other guy is our guy because he's like I don't know whatever morning
I would love to see
skate
that,
told
though,
that,
like
but
6-6 about to go into a shootout. It's like, you know what? You played great. Doesn't even get the win.
Yeah. Oh, imagine that. Not getting the
exactly.
win too.
you'd get 0 minutes played in a win.
That's fucked. I like it
That
though.
would be
I like
something.
it though.
I'm sure it's happened. Of these like things we're talking about, it's someone won it, and it might have even been an injury. Like
Yeah.
the goalie got like dinged in overtime, and they pulled him before the shootout because he was like a little
Yeah.
bit off. But I
Did
don't
you
know.
guys ever play in those like tournaments where it would do the like 3-on-3?
Dude, I've got
2-on-2, 1-on-1?
memories.
We went 2-on-2. We also had a power play.
We went 1-on-1 and Willie took a shot from the red line and scored.
I've played 1-on-1. I went to 1-on-1 without a goalie when I was 8 years old.
What?
1-on-1
Really?
without a goalie,
So you
and
just
we
left the net?
I wasn't the goalie.
Oh.
But that's what the next step
Yeah.
is. Like you go 3-on-3, 2-on-2, 1-on-1, 1-on-1, no goalie, and we got to that level.
I remember my dad was the coach, and he got to pick
Who the
who would be
1-on-1?
going
Yeah.
out
Oh, let me
whenever.
fucking guess who was out there first. I'm just kidding.
No, it was funny because I asked him about like his logic behind all of them, and he said there's only one person you can consider for a 1-on-1 without the goalie, and then he just writes on the thing DE space WAAL. And he's like, if you're dropping that puck, he's gonna win
Yes.
that puck battle every day of the goddamn week. And
honestly,
that is-
Oh, that's
one
hilarious.
one puck battle, DeWall might be the guy. Like
Yeah.
seriously.
and it was just funny that that's who he ended up writing in the.
I remember I
That's
played
so
on the
funny.
2-on-2. I wasn't the 3-on-3. I was a 2-on-2, and then we didn't end up scoring. And then fucking Willie shot from the red line, and he was like already like in movement, like ready to like kind of dump and chase slash get it on net.
Oh yeah.
And so he was gonna get that puck first. No, it just hit the goalie's arm and in. It was a
Wow.
terrible goal.
I played 3-on-3, and I was with Lane and Rosie, but it got intense because during the 5 minutes of OT, they got a penalty, so it was 3-on-2, and then Rosie got a penalty, so then it went to 2-on-2,
So
and
then
then
just stopped the play and went 2-on-2 again. What the
but
fuck?
then me and Lane went for a 2-on-1. I fed to him, he missed, went around, their guy sauced it to one guy, and the guy came out of the box for a 2-on-0 going the other way.
That's a bingo.
Nope.
What?
It went down to 2-on-2. He
Yep.
said.
It went
Oh, that's
2-on-2,
right, yeah,
and it
yeah.
was Toofy and Turner Ethans. I don't know who ended up getting the winner, but
Did you guys win?
yeah. Oh, yeah, we
Okay.
won.
No, I remember one year was Fort Garry, and I was the goalie, and I don't even remember who the 3-on-3 or 2-on-2 was, or if you guys would know anyone, but I just know the 1-on-1 was Elliot Tolinar. 1-on-1 with the goalie, you guys may know him or not.
Yeah.
You recognize the name.
Got a kid now.
Does he? Are
Yeah.
you 100% about that?
100% sure.
Congratulations.
Okay.
100%. He's
Okay.
pretty active about that on Instagram.
I really hope you guys picked. No, he yelled a name. That was a Zach.
Anyway,
God damn it, Zach.
Elliot at the time was like 6'1", 200 pounds,
Yeah.
and like just a physically dominant human, especially being 15 or whatever. And they put out like a 5'8",
Oh,
like
speedy
160
guy.
pound kid. And it was like Elliot just held the puck for a minute and a half. I think it was like a 2-minute shift or whatever, however it worked out to be. And Elliot had the puck the whole time. Like I didn't get a shot the whole one-on-one part. The two on two, we got dominated though. They put out like their two best guys in that one, and we got ran. I got a couple breakaways against me. Held it
You
for
should
it.
have came out like for the 2-on-1, just like skate up the ice and fucking stick out. Is that something you guys want to see in the NHL? If someone gets a penalty in overtime and goes to 3-on-2?
No.
No.
Dude, automatic penalty shot for anything. That's a penalty.
So you're thinking East.
That's what it needs to
you're
be.
thinking-
Okay,
You're
hold
thinking
on.
Eashel things here, right?
That's what it needs to be.
I like the 3-on-2 though.
And it has to be the guy who's fouled takes the penalty shot, just like the normal,
Yeah.
like I
Eashel.
guess the normal rule.
Okay.
Well, like the normal rule is if
I
you're
would
hauled
love
down on the,
that.
if you're the guy hauled on the
If
breakaway,
that's,
you got to take it.
the case, all penalties have to be like reviewed or whatever. If you're calling anything that's gonna dictate a game like that, you need to be 100% sure that's a fucking penalty.
I don't think you review any penalties. I think you just let it
I guess that's
go.
the same thing as like allowing a power play. Like there's calls and whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
But then like what happens if it's like a delay of game penalty? And it's not like a penalty on somebody, but it is a penalty. So then who gets the penalty?
Then that
shot
would
then?
be
You get
coach
picked?
has to pick one of the three on the ice.
This is also so hypothetical
I
because
know.
nobody's
Yeah.
gonna.
The,
Nobody's
the,
gonna
the only way I think that you get issues is when you have penalties carrying over from regulation. Like how do you enforce 45
Oh, yeah,
seconds
no
left on a
kidding. Yeah,
penalty?
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you can't get a quarter penalty
like-
shot or something like
You could pick between a power play or a penalty shot.
so
No.
something super.
But then
so-
that's just.
Like, you got Sam Gagne on the ice, and you're like, yeah, you know what? I'll do it.
I don't know. I think there's so many pie guys. Like, dude, imagine you get half a power play. It's like, okay, but the other coach gets to pick who you play. Like, pick for your penalty shot. Like the other coach gets to pick your penalty shot guy.
All right, Derek Dorsett, get out there, buddy.
Like that would be like you could get really ludicrous with it,
Yeah,
but
third pair right D. You're up.
yeah.
yeah. David Schlemko.
Tucker
Oh
Poole.
no, shit.
Tucker Pullman.
Merrick Malik. Oh wait.
Oh, shit. Yeah. It would be so fun sitting in those like manager meetings and just be like tossing up like, you guys should do this. Who said that?
I would also love to hear all the rules that like get like thrown out there and immediately just get
Fucking idiot.
rejected. Well, one of the ones that they were talking about was the power play one, where that to increase scoring, they are saying that the power play team gets to choose where the face-off is.
Oh yeah, which side?
Yeah,
And I like that a lot.
I love that. That was well, especially for like a team like Washington to have the ability to line up with Ov on his.
They'll take right side all day.
Yeah,
Or if you have Bergeron on your team, you're like, I want his good face-off side.
yeah, that's the other way to look at it too, right?
Or even better yet, like they have Bergeron, I want his weak face-off side. You know?
Oh yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of ways you can look at it.
I want to start off with or get back into some Jets talk about the only playoff team of ours making, or only favorite team of ours making the playoffs.
Wow, you had that one all lined up and ready to. You know what? It's not over till it's over. You know what? Montreal's only 4 points out, 10 games left. You know what? That's.
Oh, we're not talking about Edmonton? I'm kidding. They're gone.
Thank you.
Not even.
So let's
not
hear
even
it.
Thank you
gonna
for
respond
coming.
to that.
Jets talk.
For coming to your trips. Have you guys watched a lot of their games recently?
Yes.
So I didn't watch much of the Calgary game, but I saw them play Boston, I saw them play San Jose, and I saw them play Washington.
The Calgary game was pretty boring
Yep.
at the end,
Very.
but at the same time, that's the game that you want
To be boring.
when you're playing up against a top tier
Yeah.
team like that. And
You just
you're
need
up,
the win.
and you're up, and they just kept playing.
Defensive the
dump
whole
and chase and
chip.
defensive hockey, and my mom and aunt were like, "Oh my god, this is the most boring game ever! Like nobody's ever gonna score." And I'm like, "Good,
Yeah,
that's what you want,
In a 2-1
like-
game, you want no one scoring.
yeah. If it's
Yeah.
boring, that's good for you."
Yeah.
So
I think it's a good sign. It just shows it's another way that we can win hockey games. Like they've shown they can win the fast-paced game. They can win the grind out type of game.
Yeah, especially with a team like Calgary, like lately have been just scoring so much.
Calgary is one of those teams that's deep from forwards 1 to 12.
Yeah.
So being able to shut down 4 lines like that
And
is,
even defensively they are.
yeah, like
Yeah.
that means a lot. So
And just other things about the Jets. I've been really liking Kevin Hayes. I think he's really fitting in. Like he started off, but he's been getting, I think, a better grip of the team and his line mates and stuff. I also think Line A is really slotting well on that top line.
I'm assist after assist.
And I think it's really good.
Yeah.
I think it's
he's had 3 backhand sauces that go all the way to Wheeler, and then he
So
scores.
dirty.
I think he's had 3
He's-
3 in like the
he
last
tries
month.
one a game. He tries one a game,
And
and
it's-
it works lots of the time
Yeah.
in terms of connecting to the pass or connecting to even a pass and then a goal.
yeah.
I still think that something's not right with that. I think it's only a matter of time before once Line gets his confidence back and starts playing well with the puck. Could easily see them flipping
Connor and
Line
him.
and Connor,
Yeah.
because I think Connor was the perfect third guy to play with those two. I don't think Line-A's really on that level. And at the same time, I still think that with Line-A's lack of speed, the combo of having Ehlers there is a huge plus and kind of cancels that out a bit. And I think that Hayes is good enough defensively to make up for
What
Line-A
Line A?
as well.
Line A and Ehlers. The only thing is, I see them both as I think they're both very high risk players in terms of like Line A will stay in the zone like that extra second to stay like in the shooting spot,
See if they get the
and
turnover.
yeah, and Ehlers will make that extra move in like the neutral zone when trying to gain the zone, and they're both like they don't make giant glaring errors, but I think that's something that even though Hayes is a defensive player and can make up for some of their mistakes, that's a situation where you need more of a puck controller, like
Yeah.
like a less risk taker type of player on that line. But I think I just been liking the Jets a lot, and even though Nashville is 1 point behind us and we do have the games in hand, I'm not worried about losing the top spot at all.
Yeah, I'm not either.
Yeah, I don't think anyone was.
Nashville's actually like us and Nashville have both been kind of dragging. Like
Very like
you-
mediocre.
You see the other conference; they're like 10 points up on us now. When
Yeah.
like it feels like only 10 games ago we were neck and neck.
Yeah.
But I don't think it really makes a difference. I'm okay playing the top wild or the better of the wild card teams if that's what it ends up being. As long as we do end up with the 1, then I'm happy, and that's all
Okay.
we need.
Another guy on the Jets who I've have been really liking, especially since he's come here, is that Bull U guy or Bull Ya or however you pronounce it.
If you had it right, Nathan
Nathan
Beaulieu.
Beaulieu.
Well, no, in some interview apparently he's like not.
Oh, is he?
He's not French at all, and it's supposed
He's
to be
not
like
French.
Bull Ya or something like that.
It's Bully. You know, it's Nathan Beaulieu. That's how you pronounce it.
Really?
He just doesn't know French. Like he played in the Q, but he was from, frickin'
Nova Scotia or
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
like the East Coast.
yeah, Maritimes.
Yeah, but I've really been liking his play. I think he's controlling, like getting the puck out really well and playing very good defensively. And I think he's doing well for having Morrissey out and Morrow.
Well, yeah, that was gonna be the one thing I was gonna talk about is when you're talking about the Jets, you don't have Morrissey, you don't have Bufflin playing right now.
Yeah.
So for the next month, essentially what's gonna be happening is you know that your guys are Myers, Trouba, Bufflin, and Morrissey, and you have 2 other spots left to play in the playoffs,
And
and
I
you have
think it's
Kulikov,
Sherratt.
you have Kulikov, you have Sherratt, and you have Beaulieu.
I think it's Sherratt and Bull U right now.
You would
Personally,
scratch Kulikov.
maybe not for the playoff experience. That's like the kind of the only thing. But honestly, right now I'm thinking Bull U and Sherratt are the 2 guys for that spot, or for those spots.
So,
Okay.
okay. We're both looking at
like-
each other.
like, so-
I was just going to propose something out there.
Okay, yeah, shoot.
What I think the biggest factor is Hellebuck. Just to guess, how many shutouts do you think he has this year?
0.
1.
He's at 0. He's got 0 on the year.
How many does Brissois have?
He's got 1.
Oh, bang! There it is, baby.
Yeah, Hellebuck's
Wow.
got 0 shutouts in 54 games.
That's a lot of money to
Which-
be given a guy who doesn't even have a shutout.
His other stats, a 297 GAA and then a 910 save percentage. So pretty mediocre, pretty
That's a starter.
average.
Yeah.
Like I think there's another gear for Hellebuck. I don't think he's been anywhere
Yeah.
close to his ability of
year.
last year,
Yeah.
which is a little concerning because we are now at game 72 tonight.
It's
so
crazy, but I'm still not even worried. just because other teams have way bigger issues right now. Like we're
I-
worried about
I-
how like we have a goalie with a 2.97 GAA and a 9.10 save percent. We're still first. We're first in the division, and Nashville has played 2 more games and they're still a point back.
Do you see a situation, a scenario playing out where Brossois gets wins in a Jets successful playoff run?
Nope.
You don't?
Nope.
You don't see a situation where Holtby can take the reins or Murray and Fleury can split duties and win the cup? Like, you don't think it happens?
Nope.
Because it has, like, I think it's the last 3 years teams have used
If-
2 goalies to win.
If that was gonna happen though, then Brossois would have had more games played this year.
The split is 56-18 right now.
Yeah.
Is as of starts, I think. So,
So 3-1.
yeah.
If it was 2-1,
And
then
Brossois playing tonight.
okay. Well, still.
I think he'll probably get 2 more
He'll
games
probably-
down the stretch, 2 or 3 more, just to
Mhm.
so they can rest Helly. But I like where the Jets are, and I think they're poised for a good playoff run. Do you want to talk about who we want the Jets to play, or like who their ideal matchup would be?
Well, I was gonna go back to the defense, like
Oh, yeah, go-
defensemen
jump in.
5 and 6.
Yeah,
Because personally, I think Sherrod is the best of the 3
Yeah, I do too.
by like a good bit. I would have, and I like him with Bufflin.
Yep.
Now I would prefer Beaulieu over Kulikov, but there's 2 reasons why I think Kulikov will get, or 3 reasons Kulikov will get the nod.
He's been there longer.
1, he's been there longer, so
the
they
system.
kind of owe him. Number 2, Beaulieu's only played with Trouba since he's been here. And in the ideal scenario, it would be Morrissey with Trouba, Sherratt with Bufflin, and then you're looking for a guy with Myers.
And Kulikov would be that
And
defensive
Kulikov,
guy. Yeah.
Kulikov has
Has-
played with Myers the entire time.
Yeah, that's fair.
And the third thing is Kulikov's getting paid 4.3 right for the end of this year, and then a year after that.
Yep.
So with your with a team like the Jets, you're gonna have to make roster cuts. You're gonna have to trim on salary and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That guy might be one of the people you have to move out to sign other guys. So
you want to show.
you
his
want
best.
to showcase him, and you want to
Yeah.
and if you watch him, he can play defense.
I want the best guy out there. I don't want them to play Kulikov because they can hope to trade him for a 3rd-round pick at the draft this year, like just to dump salary. I want
True.
if Beaulieu's the best defenseman, I want him out there. If it's like,
Well, who do
if
you
it-
think is the best defense? Well,
for my opinion, so who do we have as like the locks on the team? I got a little lost in terms of
the 3 righties and Morrissey were the guys that are for sure.
okay. Well, I think Sammy Niku needs to play. I love him out there.
Really?
He's not been great, but I love his potential and I love the way he can move the puck. If we have a healthy Joe Morrow, I like Joe Morrow out there a lot.
Oh, I know. Like we have a lot of guys that I don't mind playing. I'm just saying that I wouldn't have Nico is a top 7 guy on the Jets.
He would be for the top 7 for me. I would have Morrow, Sherratt, Niku, and then the 4 guys you
You'd have
said.
Morrow
Morrow
ahead of
over Sherratt?
Sherrod.
I didn't say that those the order. Those were my
Oh,
3
okay.
guys.
Oh.
Oh, I was gonna say because I've been loving Sherratt lately. Too.
Yeah, I would have. I don't know how I would stack rank them in terms of who I like would be my 5, my 6, and my 7, but I think those would be my 3.
I do think the big thing that you brought up was the whole who's gonna be playing with who, with the whole Myers. Who's gonna be playing with Myers? You have the
Yeah.
Bufflin Morrissey, or sorry, you have the Trouba Morrissey, the Bufflin Sherratt, and it's like who do you think fits the best with Myers? If you look at Joe Morrow, pretty defensive, right? So that he's kind of like who for personally, I think it's if you're gonna say like on those regards, I think it's kind of between Kulikov or Morrow. It's like who do you like more defensively out there to play with Myers?
I don't think I think Morrow's not going to play another game
That's kind of what I'm thinking. I'd rather
because
100% Kulikov out
I
there.
think Beaulieu is better than Morrow.
I agree with that too. But
Okay.
it's kind of the whole thing with Myers and who do you
But-
want playing with him.
And I do like Niku. I guarantee you
Oh,
he'll
he's
be
gonna be good.
he'll be a top 6 D for us next year full time.
Yep.
And honestly, if you're talking about talent, yeah, I'd probably have him as a top 6. But it's just, you know what? He is actually a right-handed. He's a right D. He's left-handed, but he likes playing the right side, and that's the same case with the Moose and
Yeah.
whatever. So, I think that might be the guy they might put as like the 3rd pair defenseman next
Yeah.
year, replace Myers, maybe. I don't know. Just throwing it out there.
That's one thing, like, kind of bring it to beer league here. But it's like, I always just kind of played wherever. But playing the left side D as a left-handed defenseman or, like, playing the right side, the left side's so much easier. I didn't realize like the comparison between playing the right side as a left-handed or like your opposite side.
Dude,
it
taking
is so
lining
much
up
harder.
and taking a shot on your off like side as a defenseman is so much harder.
Yeah, no, but like I'm saying, like it whips around the boards and you're trying to keep it in. On your backhand, it's so hard on that boards. Like if you're playing
And
a
if
left
you
hand on
fuck
the right
up,
side,
it's going the other way.
oh, it's going the other way 100%, like stuff like that. But so I thought I'd just put that in there. It's a lot better playing on the left side if you're a left-handed player.
And that's why most of the time that's the case.
Yeah.
That's why it happens most of the time.
Unless it's HUD.
Do you guys want to talk about? We covered Barkov in our last episode quite a bit, but I know Colin wanted to highlight his production the last couple weeks, months or so.
Highlight
Bruh.
me. Highlight
Okay,
me.
so you wanna get real with this? Okay, so the headline is 30 points in his last 16 games. 30. That's 2 points a game for a month and a half.
Yep.
Okay. Hold on. What was the big stat I was looking for? A couple career high, or not career highs, but game highs for him against the Minnesota Wild during that span. He had a 5-assist night and was a +5. He's also regarded as being the best defensive player in the league this year. If you look at all the polls out there, the one where the players voted, he was voted most underrated.
Yep.
A lot of people are saying he's the best defensive forward. He's on a freaking point tear where he's going 2 points a game, and he's on pace for just under 100 points. So here's my question. How the fuck doesn't that win Hart? How is that not viewed as the most valuable player if you have the best defensive forward in the league who also puts up 100 points? Like, I get what Kucherov's doing is fucked. I know that. Nobody's beaten 130 points in whatever it is, 13 years or something like
But
that.
he has a great supporting cast. And he's not as good defensively. So I totally agree with you. I think the only thing is the whole playoff thing.
I don't agree with that, but that's the way the voters look at
That's
it.
the way the
You're
voters
not
look
going to
at
win the
it.
MVP
Yeah.
if you don't
I
make the
don't agree
playoffs.
with it.
I know,
but-
but like, if you just based on what I said, like, how can you explain to me how the best defensive center
Yeah.
who might get 100 points doesn't win?
I think
The
the
MVP?
answer's simple. It's because there's a guy who's going to put up 130. That, like, it's great that he's having a great year, but he's not the most valuable this year. It's Kucherov with 130.
You haven't seen 130 in how many years? When do you think that was the last time 130?
I think it was
points
like it's the friggin' like Mario and Yager
Yeah.
era.
Yeah.
Because I remember Jotho and Yager both got over 120. I remember Thornton got 125 and Yager got 123. And that's been the most since I've like actually been
Yeah.
starting to watch hockey.
Yep.
That's bonkers.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's just absolutely insane.
I think he is going to get considerations for the Hart. Like, I think there will be a guy or two because I think you vote on your top 5. I think he should be in the top 5. Like,
You would have him in the top 5?
I think he should be in the top
Yeah.
5.
Because I personally, I don't think he's going to be. I don't think he's going to finish top 5 in votes.
I don't think he'll finish.
For
but
me,
he should be.
He should be a slam dunk, but it's
Okay. And I think a lot of it is he's getting a lot of recognition now. Like, people are giving him the recognition. He will win the Selke. Like, if he doesn't win the Selke, that's highway robbery.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know about the halfway point of the season. There were stats like he's drawn 30 penalties and only taken one. And I
That
don't
was an
and I don't know
insane
if
stat,
that trend has continued. If he's,
he's
at
like
6
drawn. He drew hands down the most, and he drew none.
or did he
He took none.
Yeah, and I don't know if he's now at 60-2, like if that's his continued ratio or not, but it's definitely still one of the tops in the league.
He's also just an interesting player because I've never seen anyone really like him. Like, if you look at the amount of size he has, his hands are fucking ridiculous.
Have either of you guys watched him in Florida with Pavel Barber on the beach?
Yeah.
Did you guys watch that
Yeah.
7-minute
Yeah.
video? So cool to see those two guys put on a clinic with their hands. But yeah, we all know about his shootout moves.
Yeah.
We've highlighted some of the goals he scored.
Does he use a longer stick in the shootout? Is he one of those guys that like changes up his stick that he
I'm not
uses?
sure.
I've never even heard of that
One of the things I do remember, though, was when he was picked 2, people were like, what the fuck is Florida doing?
because
You're passing up
Drouin
on
went
Jonathan
3.
Drouin, and you're passing up on Seth Jones, who was supposed to go 1.
Yeah,
And what are you doing? And it's like,
Who
now,
went one that year?
Nate Mack.
Mhm.
Redoing it, I think Florida made the right call.
Oh, 100% they made the right call.
yeah, for
only-
sure.
the
I
only
would definitely
other-
take Barkov
was-
over Drouin and Seth
I
Jones.
was gonna say the only other better player in that draft is McKinnon, who went first. And honestly, depending what kind of team you are, you could have an argument that
Yep, and
should switch.
and now I'm Well, now I'm gonna throw something at you.
Would you take Barkov over McKinnon? I would not argue with either.
Yeah. It'd be so hard to pick those
What
two.
what did Barkov just sign for? Didn't he just get a
Okay,
contract?
Yeah,
Because he's got a pretty contract, but McKinnon might have the best one in the league. So
McKinnon. Yeah, I think McKinnon gets 6.3.
it's
Oh.
it's actually fucked.
Like long
He makes
term.
like it's like half the McDavid contract, and he's like
Oh.
a
But
step.
dude,
Yeah,
Dude, I think Barkov gets under 6.
is that? I know he got a good contract, but is it one of those? Is it done soon? What is the situation?
Barkov signed this year plus 3 at 5.9.
Yeah, like
That's
that's another steal of a contract.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
yeah.
Holy shit.
And then Trocheck, the guy who got 70 points last year, is getting under 5 million.
If Barkov waited like 2 more years to like if he
Dude,
if
there's
he,
so many
if
guys-
he signed a bridge.
It was McKinnon. There was a couple other guys, Scheifele, Monahan, and a bunch of like highly touted
Yeah.
RFA guys. Like that was you know how we're having like this year of a bunch of
Holy shit, Matthews is
a
getting
lot of
11 and a half
RFAs
or
coming
whatever
up.
it
Like
is.
there was that year,
Yeah.
and all those guys settled for like $6 million per season for long term,
insane.
and all got boned. So now the
Yeah.
next wave is like we're not.
And I feel like that happens a lot of like even Tavares, who just finished that deal, he
Yeah.
kind of got boned in a similar situation where he signed a 5-year, $5 million contract or whatever. He should been,
$33 million for 6 years? Are you kidding me?
that's what it
Yeah.
was. Yeah, it was highway
best
robbery
players in the
for the
leagues, yeah.
for the Islanders for those years. Do you guys want to talk about the future, like these years RFAs? Because we have talked a bit about them, but do you guys think it's actually going to happen? Like I know people are talking. Like, is it? I'm a pessimist. I don't. I think if it was going to happen, it was going to happen last year with Mark Stone. There was way too many variables that like made it a like reasonable reason for a team to take a shot at him. But like, there's so many studs that are up this year. Like, there's no way they can all resign.
Okay, so I'm gonna say two things. One of them is I'm surprised like teams don't try doing like a swap right now. Like I'm not looking at all the names right now, but I'm assuming that there are about 15 RFAs that are considered like easily get first liners.
So I don't know what you would consider a first liner, but I'll go forward to defense here, listing a few. Rantanen, Marner, Point, Aho, Kachuk, Meyer, Besser, Line, Connor, William Karlsson, Konechny, Verana, Fiala, Kapanen, Beauvillier, and Schmaltz.
About 10.
Okay, so that's 16 guys that are at least like established top 6 forward or better.
Yeah, I would say top 9 for sure. Because Schmaltz, Beauvillier, like you're getting a
Konechny.
little shaky there, but
Schmaltz is definitely, I think, top 6, but Bolivier, yeah, you know what, you might be right. But anyways, like, so 10 first line guys
Yeah.
of that list, probably, yeah. I would love, like, if you're not crazy about about paying him whatever the fuck, why don't you just go up to Braden Point and say, you know what, we'll give you this offer sheet, offer up like 2 firsts, a second, and third, or whatever,
Yeah.
and get him, and then just lose Line from an offer sheet, and get 2 firsts and a second and a third back for him.
that would make sense in terms of.
But you're also risking it that someone does offer sheet him.
Somebody would,
If there's a player on that list who gets offer
or
sheet,
you
who is
trade him. Like it's one or the other.
who's your player for like as a person who you?
So
think
I'll,
is gonna, like, the
I want to start
offer
off
sheet?
because I got the list in front of me. I think a good target would be Aho in Carolina. There's a lot of talk about. We all know Carolina's cheap. They don't like to spend money on coaches, on players, on management, on anything. So I think if a team with a lot of cap room and a team that likes to spend money
Yeah.
can come in there with like a $9 million like a deal that Carolina doesn't want to give Aho, I think that could be a situation. Obviously, a team like Winnipeg that's pretty cap strapped would be a big target for teams too, because like you obviously don't have the money to give the player.
At the same time, though, Carolina has said on multiple occasions, like
That's
we're
their player.
looking for forwards, we're looking for help. You can't lose your best guy.
They said that last year too, and traded away Teravainen and not Teravainen, Skinner and Lindholm is the one I was thinking of, and they're both 30-goal scorers this year. So
Holy
like-
shit, that's terrible.
yeah,
Yeah.
and now the whole talk this whole year has been we need scoring. It's
Yeah.
like
I think the guy's Marner. It has to be. I don't want him in Toronto anymore. I want him out of there.
I think that's like obviously the one that would set the hockey world most
Yeah,
on fire.
yeah.
But I think the
'Cause that
Leafs
would
the
be- that
Leafs
would
can
be
do
the
it.
4 first.
The Leafs will be able to do it, and I don't think they're going to let a talent like Marner walk out the door. I think he's a situation where he's too good for a team to let like even for 4 first. I don't know if I would do that for Marner. Like that's a lot, but I think Marner is so good, and he
Yeah.
just like I think he's a top fucking 20 guy in the league, man. He's so good.
Yeah.
The other thing is Bergevin got interviewed because he was asked, "What do you think about offer sheets?" And he said the main reason why people don't want to use it is because with the draft lottery, you have no idea what you're giving up. Like, yeah, it could be 2 firsts and a second and a third, but it's like it's gonna be your first, and you finished 10th last in the league. Oh, but you won the lottery, so now you're giving up number 2 overall.
Especially
Yeah.
if it's that the 2 firsts or even 4 first situation like that. That's 4 years in the future.
Yeah, and
So
especially
you're
if
giving
it's
up
team-
a potential franchise player plus for an older, more expensive franchise player.
Yeah, and especially if
back.
it's a team like Arizona going for it and all that. It's like, no.
That-
I
that's
guess
a-
in the playoffs
Dude,
right
that
now.
is-
It's kind of a bad
that was like
example now, but
that's the one example I think an offer sheet would work.
is with a team like that.
Yeah, because it's teams that have tried drafting first
just
rounders.
can't.
It hasn't really worked out. People aren't really
Edmonton.
signing there as like UFAs. So just say fuck it, throw the money at.
Edmonton. They got McDavid, but that's about it.
Do they have like realistically? Do they have draft picks? Like because you need your 1, 2, and 3 to really do anything in terms of
Yeah, I
offering.
think they do.
Bold prediction: Edmonton Oilers will trade their first round pick for Chris Kreider at the draft. Heard it here first.
I fucking hope not.
That's
That's
like,
like
a deal.
that's like a more fast Lucic.
Dude, Kreider's better than that.
Yeah.
He's way better than what you're giving him credit for.
I just think he's a big power forward.
Yeah, and I think that's I'm telling you right now, like I got that feeling. Like that's
I
gonna
don't
be the
wanna
guy
go
that
through
they
that again.
I'd love it. I'd love to see him less in the Eastern Conference. Fucking hate that
I
guy.
realized I didn't even mention the defensemen they have listed here as well. They got Werenski, Truba, McAvoy, Provorov, Lindell, and Butcher were listed. I thought there was a different one I had in my head, but I may have just been making that up because I think if there was a bigger name, they would have listed him.
I'm really curious to see what happens with Truba. That might be one of the most interesting cases this year because
Yeah.
he's an RFA, but he still hasn't signed long term, and he's been rumored to leave. But it's a team that's competing right now and needs him. So like, what kind of return are you getting back? Like, do you think they've already scouted the guys? Like, do you think they've done like a lot of scouting to see who could possibly replace him, or if they're gonna maybe re-sign Myers and deal Truba? And if you deal Truba, what are you trying to get back? Like,
You're-
what do you need?
I don't think you're going to get much. You're trading his rights because he doesn't have a contract right now. So those guys go for way less.
So unless it's like a agreed contract or whatever beforehand or something.
Yeah.
I don't know what the Jets are going to do. I don't think they're. I think honestly,
I
Truba's
also
going
think
to walk.
I think the market's also shit too. I don't think that there'd be a lot of teams that are willing to part ways with top tier prospects, and there's nobody that really has the assets for something like that.
Yeah.
Like the only one that I could really think of is Detroit, maybe. Just because it's like I don't even know.
I don't know. The whole Mark Stone thing, I think it was Bob McKenzie did a thing about the reasons why it made sense to offer sheet Mark Stone last year. And it was stuff like if they gave him a 1-year deal and Ottawa matched it, there's a rule that Ottawa wouldn't have been able to trade him this year. So like you literally would have said to Ottawa like either you take this or you don't trade him. Like he walks for sure. Like there was a loop.
shit.
There was loopholes like that. There was stuff like if Colorado was a team they talked about because Colorado has Ottawa's pick.
Yeah.
They could trade their first, second, and third for Stone, like for the offer sheet to Stone, and be like, we can give out those picks because we still have your first coming to us, which is going to be a top 5 pick. Like there was so many reasons why it made sense, and like Ottawa didn't want to pay anyone. They were in shambles at the time. Remember their whole off season would shit on them for the like 5 months.
Oh my god.
So like, and there were so many reasons why it made sense to offer sheet him, and then no one did. And yeah, I just that's why I'm pessimistic about it happening.
Yeah.
We should just jump into some 3 stars.
Do we want to start with an anti-star first?
Yes, I'd love to jump into the anti-star because we all have like a three-way.
Hit me with
Like
it.
we all agree.
We'll have a three-way.
I'm glad. Well, first off, speaking of them, Tampa Bay, I just got the alert. Tampa Bay secures NHL's best record with victory over Coyotes
They locked up the Prez.
with 10 games left.
Holy shit!
That's actually pretty fucking crazy.
73 games remaining, and they clinched it.
How can you not take them in any playoff pool?
Who's your first playoff? Who's your first pick?
Cooch.
You'd go Cooch?
Stammer.
Vasilevsky. Always go with the Tendy. That's gonna win 16 games.
I don't know. Louis Dominguez got a really good win
Actually, you know
percentage.
what? The guy averages 1.67 points a game. I might have to go with that guy. Anyways, yeah. Speaking of Lightning, their jerseys are shit. Yeah,
Everything
That was our
else about
anti-star?
That team.
that was the anti-star.
So good.
Those all black unis with like, I don't even know what you.
Was that their first time wearing it all year?
No, I think I've seen it like.
I
a couple
hadn't seen
times.
it till that like it was Sunday night or whatever they wear them Saturday or Sunday night. Gross.
Disgusting.
Yeah, not a fan.
It's got a little bit of a like grayish fade
It's
on
got
it,
the
but
fade on the arms, and it's like, what are you doing?
no, it to me it looks like something I made in 20 minutes
I like the
in grade 9.
I like the Islanders black unis more, and that's saying quite a bit. I think those look like trash too.
I also think those look bad too. Like I don't like most of the time when teams just black out. Like when they just like
yeah.
Only one that it worked with was LA, because when they did it, they repped it during like playoffs when they won cups and shit.
Are you talking about like Gretzky when like back then when they all blacked when year?
No, because for me at least, LA has always like when I started watching hockey, LA was purple
Okay.
and black, and that was like most. That's what they were doing, and then like in 2010, 2011, they switched
It was just all black
to like
and
the
white.
black and white and silver, which is
Oh,
what they
okay.
rep now.
Yeah.
And they won cups with it, and it just looks sick because they were winning games.
Yeah.
That's actually
Yeah.
a good point. That affects how we
Yeah,
think
oh,
about them too.
100%
But
Juice, you said earlier it looks like a practice jersey, and that just nail on the head.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't look good.
Yeah.
Do we want to get into 3 stars?
Well,
Yep.
do we do 3 stars or was the anti-star one of our 3? I don't remember. How do
We'll
we do
3
this?
Stars. We'll do 3 stars.
Okay.
I'll go first with 3 stars.
Okay, let's hear it.
Third star, Arizona Coyotes. And just, dude, they've made it interesting.
I know.
They've been heating it up the last like 15 games or whatever, and now right now they have the 8th spot, the second wild card spot. And there was at one point where I think they said they had half the guys who were like regulars were hurt.
Yeah, I think they're one of the most
Like
mad
Rick
games
Tocchet
lost.
he'll probably win.
I can see it. It's gonna be him
There's 4 coaches.
Trotz.
There-
I know Trotz is now up there. Julian's out because Habs aren't making it.
Cooper, Trotz, the guy you were Tocchet, and Berube in St. Louis. You have to consider Berube in
Oh,
St. Louis,
yeah.
man.
That's fair.
They were so dog shit before he got there, and now they're locked in the playoffs. Like we talked about the playoff format or like the
Yeah.
playoff like schedule. They're like we didn't talk about them missing. They're not gonna miss, barring a like brutal collapse. But they're
Arizona doesn't have a guy with 20 goals. They might not get it. They might not have a 20-goal scorer
and make the playoffs.
That's insane.
That'd be pretty remarkable.
All thanks to a guy named Darcy Kemper who is 24 and 16 and 6, which isn't great, but has a 921 save percentage. Keep it up, Darcy.
So Darcy's your star or the Arizona?
Arizona is, but
Good.
a large part of that is because of Kemper. So.
My second's going to a man. Well, actually, 2 men. 2 star. Second star, 2 men. One's Conor McGregor for putting on an absolute show in Boston, walking into the dressing room, pumping up the boys. First of all, he stepped over the B. He stepped on the logo in the middle of the dressing room, but no one's gonna say anything to goddamn Conor McGregor. Like
Could you imagine Big Z steps up like, no.
he knows like Conor McGregor literally knows nothing about hockey. He's like,
I know.
who's your captain in here? And Big Z's like sitting over there. He's like, just seeing a 6'9" man standing there, and he's like,
Dude.
who's your tough guy in the room? Who's your enforcer? And he's like, you all are. You're all teammates. And it was pretty entertaining.
Dude, I think if Chara went up to him and said, "Don't fucking step on the logo," I think McGregor would back the fuck down.
Who would you take in a fight?
Oh, McGregor.
A street fight? McGregor, like
Yes.
anything
Yes.
goes.
Yes.
The only way
Dude, are you fucking
Chara
kidding me?
wins is if it's on skates.
Yeah. Maybe.
He wins on skates.
Yeah. Okay.
Balance is the name of the game,
biggest-
and he's the
and
best.
McGregor literally doesn't know anything about hockey.
He's
Another
way
thing that he
shorter.
did.
Get the just use the reach to your advantage.
Have you seen Brian McCabe?
But, dude, street fight. It's not even a. That's not fair. I think you.
No. McGregor's like, what? How much do you weigh? You think? 150?
He walks around at less than that, or at more than that. He cuts down.
He cuts?
So he's probably closer to
160,
2.
170? No.
I think he fights at 155 and he walks around at like 180.
Yeah, maybe you guys are right.
I don't know the stats,
I'm
but
not-
that
I'm
that
not-
sounds about
I'm
right.
not confident enough to even throw
'Kay.
out a number. So
Okay, fair. Anyway, so the next thing he does is come out and drop the ceremonial puck drop. Doesn't shake either of the like captain's hands, Zdeno or I believe it was Boone Jenner, whoever's the
it
assistant
was
on
Columbus. Columbus does have a captain. They have Nick Foligno.
He wasn't playing.
No. Well,
So
anyways.
it was assistant. Doesn't shake their hands and then turns to Chara and goes, "Put him through the net." That's what he says to Chara to say to whoever was taking the face off.
Wow.
And then
That's not
Brad
even funny. That's
Marsh.
just like he
I
doesn't
know.
know anything about fucking
I
hockey.
know.
Jesus Christ.
And then
Anyways,
Brad Marchand comes out, scores the OT winner, and does the notorious strut.
It was a good selly.
It was honestly probably my favorite selling this season. And I see you, Montreal Canadiens fan over there, giving the old, whatever, fuck, it was bullshit.
see you like it, and then I'm gonna do it during beer league, and it's gonna be your least favorite CLA of all time.
That is
No.
that is a way to kill it.
Yep, that would do it.
But
Okay,
it's
cool.
beer league versus scoring the OT
Yeah, I
winner in the
know.
NHL. Come
Also,
on.
was it not on St. Patrick's Day? Like that was the
Oh,
whole
yeah.
like tie-in
Yeah.
with the whole
Oh,
thing.
it
So it was
fucking worked so well.
It's also just Brad Marchand. Yeah.
Love him. First star, let's hear it. I want to hear this. Love it.
Best for last. Drum roll, please.
and your first star goes to. I have to respect it, Connor McDavid.
Yes, it does.
Despite his team, their best efforts to not make the playoffs, he is
You couldn't
still
have phrased that any better.
he's
Just-
he's still trying real hard. He's on an 8-game multi-point streak with 18 points in over those 8 games. There has been 8 games this year he doesn't have a point in 60. What is it? 68 games, and only 8 of them he didn't get a point in the game. That is fucked.
one time in 2 months, he has not recorded a point. That is the stupid. With stats like that, 12 points on Kucherov, you know what? Not the biggest deal.
Yeah, he's 12 points behind Kucherov, and Kane's like 5 points behind him because Kane hit 100 tonight.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Is
think,
there any no?
dude, 12 points,
That's a lot. That's
and
a
they both
lot.
have 10 games left.
Yeah,
like
okay, no.
Kucherov would have to get 2 in 10, and McDavid would have to get whatever that would be.
Yeah, there's no-
18.
McDavid needs back-to-back 4-pointers, and Kucherov
Yeah,
needs
he
to
need-
get
he-
scratched.
He needs to have the Kucherov week,
Yeah.
the week where you get 18
Yeah,
points in
yeah.
3 games or whatever the fuck it was. Like it was fucked.
Yeah. And even
Um,
Draisaitl, kind
Average is 6 per. Yeah.
kind of honorable mention in there. Draisaitl had a 15 game point streak, and
That was also tied into McDavid's suspension too.
Yeah.
when he was out
Yeah,
with the
and it's like-
hit to the head.
these two are just trying their best.
Well,
But
you can throw
yeah.
Nugent
Well, somebody
there
has
too.
to.
Do you want to know who was on McDavid's line last night? Lucic and Cassian. Yeah.
Fuck the Oilers. They're
Yeah.
ruining him.
Okay, don't say that, but like, yeah. Anyways,
All right,
Just deal your first for Kreider. Fix it,
fuck
everything.
off. Follow the Puck Boys on Twitter at the Puck Boys.
Yep, there
thanks
you
for
go.
listening.
Subscribe, like,
We post,
all that shit.
try to post on
Occasionally.
Tuesdays.
Will be Tuesday.
Bi-weekly.
Okay.
not that
That wasn't my fault.
infrequent.
Okay. Well, have a good night.
Yeah, toodles.
Space.